This week's episode is sort of an in-between episode as we get ready to launch into the 2022 year. We discuss gratitude for 2021, excitement surrounding what we have going on in 2022, and what guests you can look forward to next week.
This is the No Excuse to Miss podcast.
Welcome to the No Excuse to Miss podcast. I'm your host, Scott Volquartsen, and this week's episode is going to be a little bit different than usual, be a little bit shorter, and we're not going to have any guests. I just really wanted to sort of reflect on 2021 and then look forward to 2022. And then next week, it'll be back to the regular format. And I think you guys will enjoy this episode that we have coming next Wednesday. It is with one of the most well-known professional shooters who has been doing it as long as anybody, and that is Doug Koenig. So if you're into shooting sports, you will not want to miss that one. But back to 2021. At the beginning of each year, I always like to try to pick a word that I then use as kind of like my North Star or my filter for the next 12 months that everything kind of goes back to. And this past year, that word was gratitude, which with all the craziness in the world, it may have been on the surface an odd word to choose. But as I look back, I couldn't think of a better word for it for the year. And, obviously gratitude has probably been overplayed over the last couple years, but it really does kind of signify my thoughts for 2021. And why am I thankful? I'm thankful for, first and foremost, our customers who, to me, are much more than just our customers. Many times they almost become like our family, where we get to hear their stories. It may be a hunting story. It may be a shooting story. It may be completely unrelated to what we do. But it's pretty neat that our customers entrust in us to, or think enough of us to tell us those stories. And it really provides like that family or friend atmosphere that we can work with. Secondly, I'm thankful for everything that as a company we learned this past year. We're obviously not alone, that we had, supply chain issues just like everybody else did. And I wish we could have done better than what we did with them. But the one thing I do know is that we have learned a ton through going through that. And we'll be a much better company in 2022 for that. We've learned how to become more resourceful in many ways, obtaining different products, raw materials, managing lead times from like our anodizers or Cerakote companies, all those things. It may not seem like a lot on the surface, but if, for example, raw materials are a week or two late, and then the anodizing companies are behind and they may be a week or two late, by the time the end product is built, that really builds in a lot of extra time. You may be looking at a 3 to 4 week additional lead time. So we are going to take what we learned and become much better in 2022. It's not to say we won't make mistakes, and it's not to say we won't probably miss deadlines, but you have our word that we're going to be much better on that. Another thing that I think I have to definitely stress is I'm thankful that we get to do what we love for a living. It's something that I've been doing for a long time, but I'm as excited to come into work today as I was as a 25-year-old kid. Our team has grown, but the one thing I learned is that just like our customers we consider family, we do the same thing with our team that we grow. And we may be a much bigger company than we were when I first started, but ultimately we have kept that family atmosphere, which to me means more than anything. So in hindsight, yes, I'm very grateful for what in many ways was probably one of the most challenging years of our business. But like I mentioned earlier, we will be better because of it. And as we look forward to 2022, we have so much to be excited about. as many of you know, we opted to not exhibit at SHOT Show this year. And that came with it a lot of questions, a lot of what ifs, and we still don't know how it's going to play out. But the one thing I do know is it has opened up opportunities for us that we didn't even see it when we made that decision. It's freed up time for us to work on those back orders, work on getting better at that, work on new projects. We have several new product launches that we will be releasing in just a few weeks now that may not have been possible, or at least not to the degree that it's going to happen if we were, having to focus on SHOT Show. So in addition to those product launches, we've already started working on some products and doing some R&D on launches that'll be out in 2023. It's definitely a balancing act, because I know we get a lot of questions that why are you working on new products when we're so far behind? But at some point, the surge that we're seeing more than likely will start to slow. And at that point, as a company, we have to be ready to pivot and move towards these new products. So it may seem counterproductive that we're putting resources there with the current backlog, but having been through this multiple times for various reasons in our industry, we've learned that as tough as it is to find that machine time, we have to move forward on new projects. The other thing and other opportunities that have kind of come along, some that we've done before, some that we're going to be adding for 2022. And a lot of that starts next month with us attending Winter Strong. That's an event that we've now participated in for the last 2 years. It takes place down in South Carolina. It kind of brings together people from all walks of life to spend a couple days outdoors. We spend some time on the range. There's a competitive aspect to it. So it's something we're really looking forward to again. And, it allows us to see and connect with a lot of people that, quite frankly, we have not been able to do over the last couple of years. In addition to that, we will once again be doing a UFC Range Day, which is a neat event that we get to introduce highly competitive people, sometimes new shooters, some experienced shooters, into what we do, not only what we do, but what some other companies do, but just all around into the firearms community. In addition to that, our goal is to try to attend more matches as we move through 2022. And with that starts World Speed Steel in April, which is an event that many times spring is such a high trade show season that by the time we get to April, we're playing catch up, which makes it very hard to get to some of these matches, which is, yes, there's work to be done at those, but it's really a time that we get a chance, some downtime to just sit and talk to the competitors themselves. And we get to meet a lot of the people that we may email or talk to over the phone throughout the year. So it's one of those things that we look forward to when time permits. And this year will definitely be one of those. So I guess in closing, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has listened to our podcast that we launched this year. We realize we have a lot of room to grow, and we're going to continue to try to get better each and every week. And the best way for us to do that is if you can give us suggestions and just email them to us at podcast@volquartsen.com. We do go through those, and we do take them to heart, both good and bad, so we can continue to improve. We're enjoying the podcasting thing. We love getting certain guests on. And if you have a guest that you may want to see if we can interview, whether it's firearms related or not, let us know and we'll see what we can do. But until then, I hope you enjoyed next week's episode with Doug Koenig, and we will be back every Wednesday after that. Thank you for listening.